record on this computer. I don't know where it's recording, but it's recording somewhere on the computer. So we're good.
It's probably recording one of your other screens, and that's what we're going to have when we're done.
I hope not.
That's funny. You want to start it out, or I'll start it out?
You can start it out if you want.
All right, no problem.
Go on.
What's that? You ready to go? Are we recording?
Yeah, ready to go. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So welcome everybody. Some of you guys know me, some of you guys don't know me. Either way, it's cool. We wanted to do this for everybody just as personal development strictly. That's what this is about. We're not going to talk about business. We're not going to talk about products. We're not going to talk about anything like that at all. We're strictly going to talk about how you guys can be better people in your lives all the way around, and what are some of the things that you can start doing in your life. So getting into this real quick, where I kind of wanted to start is we all have a story, right? We all have a background story. We all have whatever it is. Some of us have super rough upbringing. Some of us had it a little easier. There's no judgment passed either way. It doesn't matter. But the point is somewhere along the way for all of us, we've had emotional scarring in our lives. And from a very young age, we start out and we learn different things. Like maybe our moms and our dads say no, and they say no enough times that you start to understand that means no. And so those things, along with the learning, it can also, the bad things that happen in your life can get stuck in there too. Just as you learned that it's not nice to hit your sister or something, the same way you learned that, it is also the same stuff that gets stuck in there with the emotional stuff, right? So we all have a lot of this emotional scarring and a lot of these things that go on in our lives, and that really is what cripples us from way, way back. What was the statistic, Robert, about how old?
It goes all the way back to your kid, right? There's programs created in your mind from events that you've had happen, and situations in the past that created programs and create the way you act and the way you handle things now. And realizing those programs have been created, I believe 50% of those programs are created by the time you're 8. Okay,
by the time you're 8, that's crazy.
1 sec, let me go grab my notes so I can give you actual stats.
Well, I'll talk for a minute. That's crazy. By the time you're 8 years old, most of the programs and most of the beliefs that you have about yourself right now in your life, no matter how old you are, is already there. It's already programmed. It's already whatever. And that's kind of crazy, because I know the stuff that happened to me before I was 8 years old, right? And that could have taken me down a really negative path in my life. And it's this stuff that we're talking about today that we're going to get into more, that will be the stuff that takes you out of that changes those things.
Yeah, so basically from 0 to 4, 50% of your programs were created. So half of the reason why you do things now and the way you act are from 0 to 4, right? From 4 to 8 is another 30% of your programs have been created by that time. And that could become down from anything. Somebody telling you you can't do something, the way people treat you in school, anything can cause those programs to hold you back in what you're doing, right? I've had programs that have been created from when I was in the 2nd grade, and that I found that have been holding me back in my business today. And it's really when you dig deep down and realize that anything that you say or do can have such a big impact on people's lives, right? And that's the big thing about being impeccable with your word, only saying things from truth and love, and doing the things or having integrity with your word as well and doing the things that you say you're going to do.
That's a big thing. Only saying things from truth and love. That's huge, guys. Like we're gonna get that actually that actually leads into the next thing I think really well that we wanted to talk about. But the emotional scarring is the stuff that it's what you need to do is know that it's there and know that you guys have had these struggles and know that and know that this is your life and that's okay. Accept it, quit resisting it, and just know and be okay. Everybody has the struggles. I saw when I was growing up, there was a lot of violence in the home. I grew up with drug addicts around me all the time. I had a rough upbringing, and I'm only here spreading the word and spreading the love because I know that that's what will multiply in the world, right? That's what's going to and that's what I want to see the world to be, right? What be the change that you want to be. What if Michael Jackson said, you want to see the world change, just start with the man in the mirror, So that's all we have control over.
That's a big thing too, is before you can help anybody with mindset, you got to work on yourself, right? And with anything, you got to look deep down inside yourself and help yourself first before you can go on to help others. Because if you can't help yourself, then you're not going to be successful to be able to help other people as well. So, and that comes, I forgot what I was going
to say. That basically, that leads really well as far as helping yourself and helping others. That leads really well into the next thing that we wanted to talk about with you guys was the ripple effect. When, I don't know if you guys have heard like the theory of the butterfly, a butterfly flaps his wings and the world changes. Even if it's in such a small way and in such a minute way, it's still a change in the world from that butterfly wing flap, right? Is this making sense to anybody? Somebody type yes or something. It's all quiet in there. I don't know if you guys are sleeping. Somebody type what's up. Hell yeah, fuck yeah, love it. Give me something. We got two. We got two. 3 people are awake. 4. 5, 6. Okay, cool. A butterfly flaps its wings in the world and the entire world changes. So what does that mean that if it's just a little tiny little butterfly flaps its wings and the whole world changes, what can happen if you smiled at somebody today? What can happen if you said I love you to somebody today? What ripple effect will that have on the world? Because it's huge. It's massive, guys. You guys can go from a shitty state of mind. Sorry, I'll try and keep the cussing down to a minimum. You can go from a shitty state of mind to and just depressed and angry about life and all this stuff. And if somebody walked up to you when you're in the middle of feeling that and they said, hey, man, you matter to me and I love you and I appreciate you for who you are and have a good day. What is that going to do? That's going to change that person's life and that person's going to change somebody else's life and the ripple effect goes and goes and goes and goes. You never know. That guy might have been, thinking about suicide or something crazy and you could have just made his day and he goes home and he kisses his wife and kids and he has a whole new meaning on life just because of what you did. Go ahead, man.
And that comes back to realizing really how much you got to realize how much you can have an impact on this world, right? Because just like Jeffrey said, you could walk down the street, walk past somebody, just all you do is look over them and give them a big smile, and it could turn their mind away from committing suicide, right? And realize that the smallest things that you can do can have such a big impact on the world. And own the fact that every single one watching this video or this go live or whatever it is, fucking matters. And until you own the fact that you actually have a chance to impact people and change the way people think and help people out, you're gonna have either a positive or negative impact. And until you can own that, you can actually make sure that it is only a positive impact, right? But you have to realize that first before you can do anything. And that's a lot of things with anything. Like you can't go ahead and go change programs that you've had in the past and that you've created, until you actually accept the fact that they're there, realize that that's what's controlling you, and accept it. Until you can accept it and realize that it was from decisions that you've made in the past, you're never going to be able to change them. They're just going to be there, and they're going to keep showing up, because you're more than likely in resistance to it, that's even happening.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was going to say, is that these programs are running you. That's why we kind of stated it in the way that we're going about this thing, because you have this emotional scarring. These things happen to you, and they weren't your fault. There's nothing that you can do, but these emotions are still there, and they're still buried inside. And what you don't realize until you accept it into your life, like Robert said, is that you're just creating the same thing. Being a product of your environment is a fact. It's a real thing, right? And so if you don't realize and you don't make the change, you don't be the change that you want to see in the world, then that ripple effect, all the people that you affect in your life, that you will, thousands and thousands of people, it will be in a negative way if you don't start learning this stuff about yourself and taking it in and growing yourself and being the best person that you can be, on every single level, And
Because it's not even just the people that, like the ripple effect isn't just people that are around you, your friends, your family and stuff. It's their friends, their family, and then their friends and their family, right? It goes on and on and on, further than you could ever really fathom, because most of the time we don't even look that deep, because a lot of people tell us most times that we can't have an impact on the world, so we don't even think about the ripple effect that you could have, and potential to everybody out there, that you can literally affect somebody. Because if you made one person's day brighter, and then that person made another person's day brighter, look at the ripple effect you're making, right? It's not just the people that surround you that you're giving up on. Here, 1 second, turn the sound up. Apparently I'm not coming through loud enough. How's that? Is that any better?
I can hear you fine. It might be on your end. I can hear him loud and clear over here.
I turned it up a little bit to see if it'd make it any louder.
Yeah, you're definitely louder for sure. That's louder. Somebody
Okay.
put something in here. JT said the secret of change to focus all your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Socrates. That is a good saying. That's a great saying, because it's not about fighting the old. There's nothing you can do to change that shit. Excuse my language, damn it. There's nothing you can do to change that stuff. The stuff's already there, guys. It's about what you can do moving forward in your lives and how that goes. And I think that actually, I don't know, kind of leads to the next thing. Robert, are you ready for the next thing? You got something else to add on to that?
Not really. No, we're gonna move on.
We're all good? Everybody's feeling good? Can I get a couple fuck yeahs in there, huh?
And if you guys have questions, if any of you guys have questions about what we're talking about doesn't quite make sense, just drop a message in the Q&A there, and then we can see that it pops up so we can answer and get back to you. Because we want to break it down so you guys can understand it as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's totally right. Alex Stevens is jumping on that button. What's up, brother? How you doing? Got to meet him this past weekend at the event, and he's a cool dude. Nothing but good things. So now that you know that you have this emotional scarring in your life, and now that you understand that you're taking this emotional scarring in your life and you're moving it into all of these different areas, even though you're not trying to, even though you're not a malicious person, even though you don't want to do this stuff, you don't want to cause these things in other people's lives, right? Now that you know that, how the hell do you do something different about it? And on the most basic level, it's gratitude. We got to move into gratitude. That is one of the biggest things that you can do. If you're not grateful for the air you're breathing, if you're not grateful to wake up in the morning, If you're not grateful to eat whatever bowl of soup that Robert Harper is eating right now, if you're not grateful for the little things in your life and you're not whatever, I guarantee you will continue to spread those emotional scarring and that negativity throughout everybody's life that you come in contact with. And that's just not fair, right? It's not their shit. They didn't grow up that way. They didn't have that emotional scarring, you know? So spreading the world and coming into gratitude, I think, is a huge thing. What do you think, Robert?
And it's not just saying that you have gratitude for something like reading the magic. When you're doing your gratitude through the magic, you have to feel that shit. Like feel it and totally be grateful for what's going on. And it's not just doing your morning things. The morning thing, like reading the magic, is just to start your day. You want to continue that on throughout your day as well. Maybe you're walking down the street and you come up to a crosswalk. Be thankful that you can push a button and stop the traffic so you can walk across the street. Grateful for the sidewalk that you got to walk on, right? There's so many different things that you can be grateful for. The fact that you can even walk, right? Because there's people in this world that don't have that liberty to be able to just walk around freely. And there's so much to be grateful. The sun, the air, the lights, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And moving into gratitude will set you guys free. It will honestly set you guys free, because you can go it just gratitude alone. There's so much to learn in the self-development area of life. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, I've been learning this stuff for 10 years, literally, and I am just now able to I'm just now okay with myself enough and whatever enough to come out here and to tell you guys my story and to talk about different things and be grateful and live my life and be vulnerable, right? It's crazy when you get on a camera and you're talking to a bunch of people that, you know, whether you know them or you don't know them or whatever, it's a vulnerable state of being for them. And it's a lot. It takes a lot of work on yourself to do that. We got some comments in here real quick. We'll cover this stuff. Alex, why the hell aren't I a guest? Bro, what are you, jelly? What's up? Linda, I still can't look myself in the mirror and tell me I'm okay. You got to work on that, Linda. Robert, why don't you talk about what you do, bro? This is a good opportunity.
Well, even every day, every day, the biggest thing I do is when I'm brushing my teeth, I look in the mirror, stare at myself, and tell me my I am statements, right? And it's not easy. I'll be completely honest with that. It's definitely not easy. It's something you got to work on. It's kind of awkward when you first start doing it, but it's because you don't want to, when you're saying my I am statement, it's because people have told you that that's not what you are in the past. So when you're trying to tell that to yourself in the mirror, you don't want to believe yourself on who you actually are, right? And like coming back to who we are and our mindset and everything, we all were born with the mindset that we can do anything, literally do anything. A good example is when you start walking, you didn't fall down, fall down 12 times, fail at walking, all right, guess I'm crawling around for the rest of my life, right? And that's the biggest thing, is that we are all set up when we were born that we could do anything as long as we persisted. But it's all those little things that people telling you can't, that create, to even when you go to the mirror and you're looking at yourself telling you what you are, it makes it hard for yourself, right? And until you can accept that you are who you believe you are and not what other people are, we all have opinion. Everybody has an opinion in this world. It's your choice whether you want to take that opinion as your own or if you want to leave it. We all have that choice, and it comes down to taking things personal. Because and with taking things personal, you can't make everybody else speak with love and integrity, right? Or from love and truth and have integrity with their word, right? But that's where comes in with don't take anything personal, because a lot of the times people will say things and tell you things that you can't do because of they see that in themselves, right? So because they see that in themselves, they believe others can't do it as well. So, and that's usually where it's coming from. It's not usually because they see that you can't do it, but it's because they believe they can't do it. Obviously, then they think you can. And taking things personal is you can have the smallest thing that somebody tells you, and even saying somebody telling you that you're awesome, you're a great speaker, or you're great at you're great at ads or something, and the fact that it is okay to own their opinion, but only when you value it as your own, right?
I love that statement. I love that statement. On their opinion, but only when
Big statement. Whether you tell yourself you can or you cannot, you're right.
Henry Ford, bro, that's my dude. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That is such a strong, powerful statement that that's a good lead-in. That was a good lead-in. You didn't even mean to do that, did you?
I didn't even mean to do that.
No. What we were going to lead into next was touching on a little bit of things. So we'll recap real quick. Can we get a fuck yeah, everybody? Can we get a hell yeah? Can we get a something? Let Robert know he's doing good. How's Robert doing? How am I doing?
I'm not jelly. I just love me some Robert Harper.
I know. I seen that.
Love you too.
You're something. Oh, thanks, Linda. Are we spreading love, Linda? Are we positive today? I'm just kidding. You're awesome, Linda. You know it. Well, you should know it. Anyways, so what I was going to do a little recap. So you went through emotional scarring, okay? You now know that you're spreading that crap into the world. You're trying to learn to change it, and you're being grateful for the little things. Wake up grateful, go to sleep grateful. When you start doing these things, something is happening. From the time that you're born to the time that you die, something is happening. And when you become conscious, like, I don't know, like 4, 5, 6 years old, somewhere in there, super, super young, when you become conscious, this starts happening even more, and you start manifesting your life. And you're doing this through what's called the law of attraction. I love the law of attraction. I think it's mind-blowing when I started actually learning about the law of attraction and how pretty much everything in my world is my fault, right? We all have choices. And our choices that we make, the thoughts that we think, the actions that we do, whether we smile to somebody on the street and say thank you, or you look them in the eyes and tell them you love them, those things are all choices that we make. And as you make those choices, what you are and what you feel and what you think about and what you're being all the way around as a total package, as a whole person, who you show up as is who will show up for you in your life. And not just other people, other things, whatever it is. Right, Robert? You go for it, dude. I feel like I talk too much already.
Don't make assumptions. A big thing, like, I had something too. Okay, I totally lost where we were at. What were we just talking about?
We were talking about the law of attraction.
Yeah, law of attraction, yeah. That's a big thing with the law of attraction too, is that's why we talk so highly about your vision, envisioning where you're going, knowing where you're going, right? Because if you don't know where you're going and you don't have goals and you're not setting on your goals and focusing on your goals, then you're just going to wander through life and just go wherever it takes you, right? Even if and that's where writing goals down is big, because then you read them every day, you focus on them every day, you visualize where you're going. And when you can start visualizing where you're going, you may not know how you're going to do it, how you're going to make it happen, and how it's going to come into your life. That's fine. That is perfectly fine. I came out of Activate knowing that I was going to be speaking at events and doing lots of personal development and getting to the point where I'm at Todd Campbell's level. And if you guys all know who Todd Campbell is, but I came out with that vision and that mindset. Things since that event have just been falling in place because I've been attracting it to my life, because I set in my vision exactly where I'm going, and had no doubt to it. Realize if you want to do something in this world, you're only limited yourself. Whether you want to tell yourself you can or cannot do it, you're right? And that comes back to that as well. If you can tell yourself and know your vision on where you're going, and full believe it, and I mean like passionately believe it, no doubts in your mind about that, you'll start to track into your life. The smallest thing, and that comes back to too, when you start attracting that, random things will pop into your head, and give you ideas of exactly what you could do to make it happen. And like when you have those ideas, the biggest thing you got to do is take action on them, because they'll just randomly pop into your head. You ever have that, Jeffrey? That shit just randomly pops in your head, and then when you act on it, it seems to work out for where you want to go.
Oh yeah, and you have to act on it, dude. That's the big thing. It isn't, and not even knowing. You touched on it a little bit there. Knowing how it's gonna happen doesn't matter at all. I was the biggest person that you'd ever find. Like if I didn't know how it was gonna work out or how I was gonna do it, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. If it wasn't in this little tiny little box, then I didn't do shit about it, right? Like I didn't nothing. It had to fit. It had to be step 1, step 2. I'm super analytical type of person. But what you learn as you start working on yourself and as you start doing these things and doing different exercises or going to events or whatever you do to better yourself, right? However that looks for you. When you start doing this stuff and you realize that you're manifesting your whole world through the law of attraction, and you've been doing this, good and bad, there is nobody else to blame for the bad stuff either, right? Aside from when you're a kid and you have no control over it. But as you become an adult, I think everybody in here should be over 18, right? As you become an adult, it's your thing. You have choices from the bottom to the top. You got choices, and the more that you put out there, the better off you're going to be. As long as you're putting out there the positive stuff. And like I said, the how doesn't matter. The how doesn't matter at all. You just have to believe. You just have to know it. Like Robert said, truly, truly believe it. If you believe without any shadow of a doubt that you'll make $1 million next month, you'll probably make 800,000, 900,000. It is all about believing in what the hell you believe in. Maybe let's not even make it about money. Let's not even make it about business. Let's make it about, if you believe that that friend that you've been kind of strained with lately, and they haven't been talking to you, or you guys haven't been doing so good, or whatever. If you truly, truly believe that that friend is meant to be in your life and whatever, then odds are that friend's going to give you a call all of a sudden, randomly out of the blue, right? And you can blame it on coincidence. You can call it luck, but I don't believe in coincidence or luck. We were talking about that last night, weren't we, sir?
Oh,
I don't believe. Go ahead.
Everything in this world happens for a reason, and whether you attract it to yourself or you do something to make that happen, right? Everything happens to you because of a decision that you've made in the past. And that's one thing you got to own, right? Because every situation that you go through in life, you did something to cause that situation, right? It comes down to even like the smallest things, right? And then a lot of people will be in resistance to that. But the biggest thing is resistance is bad, right? Like if you're resistance and doubt of something that's happening in your life and you can't see why, even though if you can't figure out exactly why that happened to you, don't be in resistance to think that it could be your fault for having it happen, right? I'm not saying in every instance it's your fault, but you made some decision which resulted in that to happen, right? And it's you got to own that at the same time, because like I was saying earlier, if you're always doubting yourself and you're never following through with stuff, it comes down to a big thing comes down to routine and consistency. That's why we talk so much about consistency in this business, because yes, we may not all have been internet marketers at first, right? But if you don't create consistency in your life, you're never going to change those things. Those programs from the past, you're just going to keep that coming back until you can create a routine and create consistency, and always follow with what you say you're going to do and do the things that you want to do in order to make it better. It's like I said, it's never going to change. And
I want to touch on what you just said there. One of the things that was crazy for us in our life, my wife and I have been together for 10 years. And we noticed like year, I don't know, 5 or 6 maybe, we were on this 2-year pattern where we would go through a change, like we'd make like a drastic change in our life, super, super drastic. And it would work for a while and it was great and blah, blah, blah. But then 2 years down the road, we would all of a sudden be feeling the same way. Like nothing was different. Nothing was whatever. And what we didn't realize the entire time that we were together was that the important stuff, us, not us as a couple, well, that too, us as a couple, but us as in ourselves individually, we weren't working on what was important. And what is important is the stuff that we're talking to you guys about today. It's about being who you are and learning all of these things. And I had another thing that I was going to touch on. Oh, I don't mean to be like super biblical, whatever, churchgoer. I don't want to bring up anything like that, but I do have a little story about not knowing the how and still being okay with it, however it shows up in your life. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this story about the man that dies in a flood, and then he gets up to heaven and he talks to God and he says, "Why didn't you come to save me?" And God says, "Well, I sent you a boat, I sent you a helicopter, I sent you all of these things." And the man says, "Well, I thought you were going to save me." And he says, "I tried." And that's the thing. You don't know how it's going to show up. You have no clue how or why or when, but if you believe and you know and you keep doing the best that you can do, it will show up. It will happen. It's guaranteed. And no matter what you're doing in your life, no matter what you're doing, this is from relationships to business to just being a better person all the way around. So,
and that comes huge from like even within your business. A good way to look at it is don't look at any leads that you're having or anything trying to get somebody to join as a paycheck. Look at it as trying to help that person. Because if you can come from a place of giving and helping others, you'll have more results that way. Because I'm a strong, very, very strong believer. You help enough people in this world, you will get what you want, right? And it comes down to you see somebody reaching for something in the grocery store, can't reach it, help them out.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. In anything, not even just in business, just like he said, in the grocery store, guys. Like it's all around in your life. You're constantly doing this thing, which unless you have something else to add there, Robert, I got the next thing on the list here.
No, it's just the biggest thing is just remember to don't look at it there. You can look at certain things one way and you can look at certain things another way. To every scenario, there is always a positive out of it. Getting a ticket even. Like, look, maybe now you can look at it as, okay, now I know that I should slow down and not speed so fast, right? Or having, like Jesse was saying the other night, how shoveling your sidewalk. Yeah, you may look at it as, oh, this is a pain in my ass. I gotta fucking do this work. Bullshit. And then you can look at it as, oh, well, I just shoveled my walk. Maybe somebody that's 80 years old can walk down the sidewalk now and not slip and fall and break their neck, right? It's how you want to perceive things. Because if you could perceive it the bad way, or you perceive it the good way, right? And that leads to another thing I wanted to touch on is when you're coming from a place of wanting to help and give to others, look at the win-win side. Don't look at the fact of win yourself but lose, somebody else lose, right? Or you do something for somebody else so they can win but you lose. You want to look for the win-win scenario in everything, because there is always a win-win scenario in everything, that you can always do something to win from it, and the other person can win from it. When you look at that aspect of things will be you'll have reaction from that a lot better than you will if you have negative. I'm a strong believer in karma.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Strong believer in karma. I've proven it lots. You're nice, let people in traffic, all of a sudden you'll notice you'll be let in traffic, right? You go and cut people off all the time, well, you're probably never going to get into a gap.
Right. And see, and that's the funny thing, is that karma is the law of attraction, right? You cut people off all the time, what's going to happen? You're never going to find an open lane. You know what I'm saying? And so that stuff just snowballs. Good or bad, it snowballs. It's a guarantee that it will snowball, and it will continue to happen over and over and over. You were talking about shoveling your sidewalk and getting that ticket and stuff. And this is an example that I use with my daughter, because I don't know how many of you guys out there have kids, but I have 2 kids. And if you're not teaching them this crap already, start teaching them. Start learning them now so that they can grow up and be better human beings right off the get-go, right? So anyways, one of the things that I teach, or I use to teach my daughter, that is, if we're driving in the car and we get pulled over, we get a ticket, or let's say you get a flat tire, right? Or you're running late to something and you're all in this hustle and bustle and something stops you from getting wherever you're going, okay? That moment in time, maybe you got a flat tire, maybe you got a ticket like Robert said, maybe whatever the moment is, maybe you had to stop at a car, an accident happened in front of you, whatever. That moment in time, that pause, the universe is telling you that you have to pause right now. It's not working. And what you don't realize is that if you kept pushing, what if you got into a life-threatening car accident, right? Or what if you got into you hit somebody else? You're fine, but you hit somebody with your car, right? And you hurt them badly or killed them possibly, whatever it is. That just accept things that are going on around you and be okay with it. Like Robert said, it's all about perception. You guys, you can have a super negative perception on life, or you can be like, hey, this is okay. It's all right. Breathe, take a deep breath, learn from it, and then move forward from a gratitude state of mind, and your guys' whole lives will change. So the next thing we wanted to talk about, you have your emotional scarring, you know that it's there. You go through life, you're the ripple effect, you're causing all these different things, and then you start learning how to change it. You're grateful for stuff. You learn that the law of attraction is always happening since you were young. The bad and the good is basically all your fault one way or another, right? And if you can't swallow that pill, then you're going to continue to have issues. This is another thing I tell my family. If we all, because there's times when, husband, wife, 2 kids, we argue, it happens, But one thing that we've been talking about recently is that if we all swallowed the pill in our family, like me, my wife, my kids, if we all swallowed the pill that the chaos that's happening in our worlds is our fault, then that each of us individually is our fault, then that forces us to work on the only thing that we have control over, and that's ourselves. So then those situations don't happen as much. If you know, like I'm arguing with my daughter because she's arguing with me, and she thinks it's my fault, I think it's her fault, blah 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 blah. If we just stopped, there's always two sides to a story, right? There's her side, my side, and the truth. So if we just stopped and we found the truth and we said, you know what, I probably could have acted differently. And if she said the same thing, she says, you know what, she probably could have acted differently. Boom, it changes the whole mood and it changes everything that's going on in the household. And that kind of leads into our next point here that we wanted to go over with you guys was manifesting your destiny. All of this stuff is happening. Now you know that you have the scarring, the ripple effect, learning how to be grateful for things, the law of attraction, and now you go into manifesting your destiny through believing and through manifestation and through being okay with the world and okay with your emotions and being the best that you can be. You can literally create exactly what you want. To the T, exactly what you want. And if you don't believe that, look this stuff up. Look it up from ages ago. Think and Grow Rich. Has anybody read Think and Grow Rich in here? Everybody? Robert has. There we go. We got one. Somebody write it down. Anybody? Not yet. Not yet. Hell yeah. Alex is on it. John, hell yeah. Or heck yes, Alex. Some of it. Okay, keep going then. Listen to the audio. That's good. That's good. Whatever you got to do. Think and Grow Rich, that book is, I think it was published in like 1920 something, right? Or 30 something. Like it's like a long time ago. And this is the stuff that they're talking about. They're talking about the most successful people in the world, and their story is all about the only commonality between all of these different people, all of these super, super, uber successful people. The only commonality between all of them is that they believed that they could be something more than they are, that they could manifest exactly what they wanted. They believed that, and they were the best person that they could be, and then they kept going. And they took action on the things that came. Go ahead, Robert.
That's exactly what I was going to touch on. Yes, you can manifest this and visualize it, but it's never going to happen until you start taking action, right? When you start manifesting, visualizing it, you will have things that come up in your mind, or you'll see things going through life that will be like, oh, all of a sudden it'll be like, click. I could do this. I can implement that. But until you push that voice that comes back at you right after you have that thought from programs that are created telling you can't do something, till you can push that voice away and actually listen to the first voice that comes in your head telling you, hey, look at this, or look at that, you can do this, and take action on that fact, then you're not going to be able to progress, right? There's something I want to touch on. It's all about like taking action is just as big as visualizing and know where you're going. Come back to me. I'm trying to figure out what else.
That's fine. You're good, bro. It's all good. We love you. That is a huge point, because no matter how much you visualize, no matter how much you believe in this stuff, no matter how much whatever, you can just visualize and manifest and believe in these things and then do nothing about it, right? There's an interview with Jim Carrey. If you guys haven't seen this interview, Google it, okay? It's there. There's an interview with Jim Carrey back in the 90s, and he was on the Oprah show. And he talked about how he wrote himself a $10 million check for acting services rendered, blah, 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 blah. He put that check, and he dated it for like 3 years later, right? And he put that check in his wallet, and it deteriorated, and over time, over those 3 years, whatever, 5 years, whatever it was, over that time frame, the check kind of went to hell, and there's pretty much nothing left. But guess what? On a few days before, when that check was written for, he made $10 million for the movie Dumb and Dumber. And he said in this interview with Oprah, and like everybody was clapping, right? And he was like, Oprah said, well, yeah, visualization works if you take action. And Jim Carrey says, well, yeah, that's right. You can't just visualize and believe and manifest and then go eat a sandwich, right? You can't just visualize and then sit down and do nothing. You have to take action to manifest your destiny. And as you keep going and as you move through everything, those things continue to happen, and it is a snowball effect across the board. No matter what you're doing, I don't care if it's business or your life or whatever it is a snowball effect that will take place, and stuff, like Robert said a little bit ago, stuff will just happen. It will just boom, 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 boom. Go ahead.
And you got to realize, this is what I was going to say earlier, is you got to realize that your universe isn't going to throw anything at you that you can't handle.
Oh, yeah.
Anything that's going to throw at you, the ideas that you're going to pop in your head, you're able to handle it. But it's whether you choose to move forward or not, right? A big thing is with that as well, is making assumptions, right? Because if you make assumptions that you can't do it, it's only going to cause you to go all over in different places in your head, and then you're going to get to the point that you get down on yourself, because all of a sudden you'll start overthinking it for making assumptions, right? Even before you get started, you could make an assumptions that, you're all pumped, keep going, this isn't going to work, people aren't going to like it, and then bam, you don't do it because of an assumption. When really, if you want clarity on something, ask.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing you can do. You think somebody's mad at you in a relationship or something like that? You think your girlfriend, your boyfriend's mad at you? You're tiptoeing around it, and you want to have clarity on that? Just go ask. A lot of times they might not even be mad at you, but you just created that false reality in your head because of an assumption that didn't need to be made.
Dude, that's so fire right now. Literally last night, I was just having this conversation, almost this exact conversation, what you just talked about, Robert, with my daughter. She was having troubles in school. She was like feeling bad about herself, and she was feeling like her friends didn't want to be her friends, and just all the stuff that 11-year-olds have issues with, right? And so she was having these issues, and she was saying that nobody wants to hang out with her and all this stuff. And I looked at her and I was like, are you done with your pity party yet? Because here's the thing. Until you ask, until you clarify, until you don't assume, like Robert's talking about, until you know factually out of your mouth that they don't want to hang out with you, then they probably want to hang out with you, and it's just some crazy stuff up in your head going on. And that's a huge, huge thing for you guys, for everybody, right? Can we get a fuck yeah? Let's get a fuck yeah.
And that comes down to two. And if you ask and that person says that they don't want to hang out with you, well then don't take it personal, right? It's because it's something from them that they see themselves that might be bringing that to reality, right?
Absolutely. There's some good points in here. I wanted to clarify. Courtney, it doesn't show the whole name. I'm not really sure why, but Courtney said, I seriously wish someone would have told me that when I was that age. Me too. That's the thing, right? I'm trying to change the ripple effect in my life. And it starts with me and my kids. And I wouldn't have had those words to tell to my daughter if I hadn't first learned them, right? If I didn't listen to myself, if I didn't do the work on myself. But yeah, fuck yeah, me too. Nobody told me that when I was 11.
And that comes back to working. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a talk with Jesse at the event about how something I broke down with my wife, and the way that I drew it was a pyramid, right? And at the top of the pyramid was me. No matter how selfish you think that is, that's me. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to make sure that I'm the best person that I can be. And then the next down would be my wife and I's relationship. Because if I'm not good, then our relationship's not good. And if that's not good, then family is the next one, is not good, right? That won't whatever. And then from there, friends, business, whatever. But these are the important things in your life. And if you're not working on yourself, it ain't gonna work. I promise you that. Sharon said, "Fuck yeah." Oh, this is a good point. Did you see this in here, Robert? She said, "Fuck yeah." Besides, it's not your business what someone else thinks of you.
Fucking right. Who cares?
Yep.
Who cares what people think? Like, that comes back to, you got to look at the aspect of the thing is caring what so and so thinks about me going to hold me back, or is it going to excel me in my business? If it's not going to do either, then why are you wasting energy on something of what somebody thinks? They don't like you, then fuck them, right? And that comes down to 9 times out of the 10, if you're thinking about something, oh, that person probably thinks I look stupid right now wearing these clothes. 9 times out of 10, that person probably has nowhere near that fucking thought in their head going on. Right? They could be thinking the same thing you're thinking.
Right? And that's the crazy. Go ahead.
And that comes down to, if you want clarity on that, you think somebody thinks you're stupid or thinks that you look ugly, walk up and ask that person. Now you're not making a false reality in your head. You're finding out the truth. And then at that point, if they say, yeah, you do look, or yeah, you are stupid, it's now your choice to take that opinion as yours or to leave it and not take it personally.
Absolutely.
Personal is just going to hold you back, and it's not going to allow you to grow, because now you're bringing somebody else's reality into your own. And like we were saying, it's not easy to change. It's really not, and it takes time and effort. Because I still make assumptions. At the biggest time of what I'm doing and what I was going to create, I still make assumptions, right? And it's what you do from there. It's the biggest thing is realizing how you're showing up and what you got to do to change it. And repetition, there's only 2 ways that things are going to stick in your life. It's either from experiences or repetition of following, working on yourself all the time, or going through experiences of working on yourself.
Absolutely. Do you see what Alex said in here? He said he stopped caring what people think a long time ago. Damn right, bro. It's and then he went on to say that I think I'm weird or crazy, or that's why people think I'm weird or crazy. Dude, I've been called crazy more times than I can count. People think I'm freaking nuts, right? But this is the important stuff. Like, they can. Bye. Have a good day.
look at if Jeffrey would have took that personal, thinking that he was crazy, he probably wouldn't be on this Zoom right now sharing about it.
What? Right, and I have, though, right? Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not an angel, even though my mom thinks I am. My mom thinks I'm perfect, but other than that, I'm not perfect. I still work on myself, like Robert said. It's a daily thing. It is daily, and if you can't do it daily, then you can't expect different results, right? No matter whether it's business or your personal life or your relationships or anything else. There's some other good stuff in here. Did you see any of these, Robert? Probably that person is thinking they look stupid in their own clothes. Yeah, well, and that goes into a whole nother self-development thing. That's going to have to be next week or whatever. Joshua Hill says, this is something I tell people and my son all the time. Fuck what people think about you. Your opinion about yourself and how you value your self-worth is all that matters. When you love yourself, you'll be a better person and attract positive people to you. Bro, boom, right on. Right. Mic drop. You need to get this guy on here, right? That's mic drop. That's good stuff right there. I read quote one time that said something like, if you ever find yourself worrying about what others think of you, just stop and ask yourself why you give a fuck. Exactly.
The one big thing I would say in that moment of you realizing that you're caring about whatever other people think, look at how you're showing up, right? And that comes back to like where you are in your business. Are you showing up that as the person that you need to be in order to see the success? Are you showing up the way you need to be in order to work on yourself and see personal growth? By like, are you showing up and reading books? Are you listening to different podcasts or different things on YouTube about motivational mindset and stuff like that? Because if you're not showing up that way, you can't be like, oh, poor me, I'm not where I am in my life, because you're not being that person that you need to be. And until you can accept that, it's never going to change.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to be it first. You must be the change that you would like to see in the world. That is Mahatma, if that's how you say his name, Gandhi, that said that. Okay, don't take it from me, don't take it from Robert. That guy was like, an Eastern Indian Jesus, okay? that's it is it's we didn't make this stuff up. This is the stuff that we've been taught and we've learned, and now we're spreading it with you guys. And hopefully you guys take away from this and spread it with the world, right? That's what I hope for. There's another comment. People will come and go, so you can't let their opinions stick around also. Yes, that's true. People will come and go. One thing I wanted to say, too, on one of the comments that were in here, it isn't what I want you guys to realize, okay? We've said a lot of, like, don't give a fucks and things like that in here. For me personally, in my life, every time I ever not gave a fuck about things, shit didn't go good for me personally, right? Like I was like, nah, fuck it out. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about what they say, blah, blah, blah. And I had this attitude and this pride and this ego and all this stuff in the way. And I thought I was doing stuff the right way or whatever. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve you to try and lash out at people. It doesn't serve you to say, go fuck yourself to somebody else. It doesn't serve you. Kill them with kindness. You get more bees with honey, right? Like I didn't make these sayings up. This stuff is already there. Your ego. Alex Stevens just said your ego. Yeah, all of this stuff, like it doesn't help you and it doesn't help them. So if someone's being rude to you, understand what they're going through in their life, right? They probably haven't learned the things that you've learned. They probably haven't worked on yourself the way that you've worked on yourself. So accept that and just be like, you know what? I understand where you're at in your life. I hope you have a blessed day. And see what they do to you.
Because also look at that is when you're going and saying fuck you for their opinion, now you're not speaking out of truth and love, right?
I'm right.
And that's one of the biggest agreements is speak from truth and love, right? If you're cool, kind, thank you, I value your opinion, that's not who I am, but have a good day, blah. It'll make that person think about what they just said to you.
There you go. Absolutely. And just accept the things into your life, and just say, hey, that person's having a rough day. Do something crazy for them. Like, whatever, like, hand them $1 or, like buy their meal, like if you're in line at a Starbucks and the dude behind you is being a dick and he's like honking at you and, whatever, buy that guy's coffee, when you go through the line, you say, here's an extra 20, whatever that guy wants. And what is he going to do? I guarantee you completely change his day. And you will most likely completely change his outlook, at least for a while, probably week, 2 weeks, I don't know, it depends, right? But you will change that person's life, and then what happens? And then we start working backwards. Your manifestation does better, your gratitude is there, the ripple effect starts going in a positive direction for you, and all of these things fall into place effortlessly over and over and over. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
We only got a couple minutes left here, guys. We wanted to cut it off, before noon. We are gonna do. I think we're gonna do this once a week, Robert. What are you thinking?
Once a week for sure, if not twice.
Okay, so once a week, if not twice. Keep an eye out in the groups and stuff, or whatever. If you came in here from me directly and I sent you a link, I will obviously send you a link to the next one too.
We'll have guest speakers from time to time.
Alex just itching to get on the mic, bro. I love it, Alex. I love it. Oh, Todd Campbell. Are we gonna bring Todd Campbell onto one of these? Maybe that's something we should try and work out.
I could work my magic with him. Me and him are getting pretty tight.
Are you? Good.
Yeah, we could possibly do that. I'll have to see what his thoughts are.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome. I appreciate you guys' participation today too. You guys were great. This was the first one that me and Robert have done. And I know I was a little nervous about it. I don't know about you, Robert.
I was a little nervous, and like now, not even, because I know we can crush this out, and that's self-belief right there, right? Believing, you believe it too. When you go to do something new, you may have butterflies at first, but they'll go away really easy once you get into it because you know you can do it.
Yep. What's that? Feel the fear, do it anyways, right?
Yeah. Is there any questions from anything that we talked about that you guys wanted a little bit cleared up on?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Pony the fuck up.
I don't really know what that means, bro. I don't own a horse or a mule or anything like that. I barely own any shirts, Alex. You know that. That's pretty obvious, I thought.
I was impressed to see that you had a shirt on when we started this.
Exactly.
And this, I don't know if you guys have seen all the stuff like in Freedom Tracks, what I posted last night, but like all this stuff as well. If you like, for me, I know I heard it lots and heard it lots, but until I actually went to events and it was showing examples and implemented in how I was showing up in my life and my business, never really hit home. And that's why I started my new business that you guys can see in Freedom Tracks there, is if you guys need help with any of this, you can definitely reach out to me. I'm doing coaching calls now for mindset. It'd be strictly mindset and like visualizing, that kind of thing. So if you guys need help with that, definitely just shoot me a message on my page, on my new page, Robert Harper, Push for Freedom Personal Mindset Coaching Calls. Just send me a message on there, and then we can get you all set up for a time for a call and go from there.
That's a good thing, guys. Take advantage of it because, number one, I'm not humble enough to do that like Robert is. The guy's a stud, right? But beyond that, I actually am, but I'm not. Yeah. Anyways, beyond that though, it's taken me a long time. It's taken Robert a long time. It takes any of us a long time to get to where we're at and to learn these things in our lives, because you hear stuff, you've heard us talk for the last hour or whatever about these different things, but until they really relate to you in your life, for a lot of people, they have a hard time making it click, right? They have a hard time understanding how. So yeah, get a hold of them. Absolutely. Thank you guys all for coming out. Appreciate y'all. Can we get one more fuck yeah across the board, and then we'll be done with it? That would be awesome. You got anything else you want to add, brother?
The biggest thing is realizing how you're showing up, those things that are in your past, and accepting the programs you have in you, and make sure you can accept them before you change them. Because if you just go try to change them, even if you are successful with changing them, they're just going to be back. They're just going to come back. And that's where repetition comes in and staying consistent on working towards them. Once you can accept where your programs are at and start moving in a better path and getting away from those programs and staying consistent with it, that's when you'll have the change.
Absolutely. And I think that's the stuff that you can probably help with more so than me, Robert, like with people one-on-one, because I barely know how to keep myself running. So practical ways for you guys to do things. Yeah, reach out to them. So appreciate all you guys. The fuck yeahs. There's not enough fuck yeahs in here. But but we appreciate you guys, and thank you. Everybody go out there and change the world today, huh? Change the world. We good? You good, brother?
I'm good. So we'll try to give you guys more notice. We're kind of just trying to figure this all out in the last minute and how we're gonna do this and how to make this work. Because I ain't no professional at Zoom, and I don't think Jeffrey is either. But we figured it out. So we'll give you guys, we'll set up times and we'll announce them in Freedom Tracks. And then we'll try to announce them the day before so that you guys are prepared for them. And then just, if you want to invite your 99s that haven't bought products yet, more than welcome. Just bring them in. And we're here to help everybody with mindset. On a business level or a personal level, right? We're not going to talk about business, but that's what we came to here, just to help everybody out with that mindset.
Yeah, and it just helps everybody in their lives all the way around, no matter what business you're in. I don't care if you flip burgers for a living, be grateful that you have a job to flip burgers, and you probably get free food.
Looking at the positive side of things.
All right, guys, we're going to end it. Peace, and have a good one.
Take care, guys. This will, real quick, this will be recorded as well, and
we'll get that out. We'll get that out for you guys. Yeah.
So
cool.
All right, much love, guys. Take care, and we'll talk later.
All right, buddy. You got to press the button.